10 years with the Red Wings and has done a tremendous job with them.
For Dwyer, Dan O'Halloran are the referees. The linesmen Andy McElman and Derek Nansen. As it will be O'Halloran to handle the opening face-off. Lightning will open up with Brian Boyle between Jonathan Drouin, Brendan Morrow up front, Jason Garrison and Matt Carl defensively. Red Wing captain Henrik Zetterberg will take this face-off with Thomas Jurko and Drew Miller. Andy DeKaiser and Kyle Quincy to open up for the Wings. And the puck is backhanded to Miller. He's checked on free by Carl, and we get the stoppage in play. And joining us nearby, not far away from Drew Miller, is Chris Dingman. Good evening.
Good evening, guys. Almost got a souvenir of the first shift of the game, and for the Tampa Bay Lightning, and very spirit affair. You can tell the crowd already. Look for the Lightning to get their speed going, get in on the offense.
Lightning coming in with a league best 27-7-1 home ice record. The Wings very sharp on the road, 19-13-4. Lightning have won the two previous meetings. That puck deflected off the netting out of play, as they won in Detroit in November and at home here in January.
Let's take a look at our keys to the game, brought to you by your Southern Ford dealers. And a strong start, get off and really dictate the pace of the game. They played last night. You could really have them tired out by the third period, and special teams are going to be very important. They have an outstanding power play. The Lightning's penalty kill has been outstanding as well. It'll be interesting to see who wins that battle.
Well, the insertion of Andre Palat back with his triplets line mates Tyler Johnson and Nikita Kucherov, and Mike Angelidis sent back to Syracuse. Now get Vlad Nemestikov on left wing with Valtteri Filppula, the former wing, and JT Brown on the right side for Tampa Bay. Puck comes out to center. It's played back, and Anton Stralman has it for the Lightning. He's paired as usual with Victor Hedman. Hedman has a lane, skates the puck in, back to Nemestikov, dealing it to Stralman, and Wine will shoot, and a save by Howard. Hedman fires, that's deflected, comes down in front, backhanded Howard, a save there, and Filppula centered, and Eric Cole takes it. Couple of chances for the Lightning in the early going as Hedman playing it back to Nemestikov, whose uncle, of course, Slava Kozlov, a star for the Wings on their Stanley Cup teams in the 90s. That growing up in the Detroit area. Quincy.
Yeah, he told me on the bench interview in the pregame, Rick, that he was really nervous the first time, but it's a little bit different now in this game.
Here's a shot by Riley Sheahan and a save off the shoulder by Ben Bishop, reaching up with that right arm. Quincy in behind to Sheahan, who's checked there by Garrison. Matt Carl takes it. He's hurried immediately by Thomas Tatar, and Alex Killorn steams ahead for Tampa Bay, trying to get something going with Brian Callahan, but the Wings turn it around. Captain Steven Stamkos back. And here comes Carl. Wings away from the forechecking of Jurko. And Jurko grabs the puck at center thanks to the work of Jonathan Ericsson. Jurko made his NHL debut against the Lightning at Joe Louis Arena last year. Puck at center, and Andre Palat, his first shift back, missing 3 games with a lower body injury. Nikita Kucherov bans on the shot attempt. Drew Miller getting it free to Jurko. And he'll ease it in wide of Bishop. Jurko after it. Miller back for Luke Glendening. Couldn't do much with that centering pass. Checked there by Andre Schuster. Mark Barberio is his partner. Puck played back in front, and Schuster on hand to take it. Pass taken away by Miller. Tyler Johnson controls for the Lightning. At the point, it's mishandled by Marek Shedlitsky. Playing in his 9th game since coming over from New Jersey at the trade deadline. He's been a very good individual addition to this team, especially in the power play. But as Mike Babcock said this morning, the players are better with Shedlitsky and Cole, but the team is not right now, as they've struggled, losing 5 of 7. Play came out of the zone, brought back in offside.
Well, here's that one good chance, and it looked like it got off of Howard's shaft of his stick, and then he got back very quickly for a rebound to make a left pad save. But good flurry for the Lightning, and getting a second opportunity, that's going to be a key as well. But Detroit really keeps their defense up in that neutral zone. You got to really be aware of that long pass.
That's exactly what John Cooper said he wanted to see from his defense. So we don't want to give their star players room to roam out there on the ice. We want those gaps to be pretty tight. Speaking of star players, Pavel Datsyuk missing this 2-game trip to Florida because of a lower body injury. Gustav Nyquist. Quincy with a pass. Joachim Andersen across the middle. Taken now by Timo Pulkkinen. Fired back by Bishop. Off the ledge of the boards to center. The Kaisers paired with Quincy. Zetterberg bottled that pass. Filppula's longtime teammate trying to steal. Zetterberg's pass in front, and Filppula did steal that pass. That was ticketed for Justin Abdelkader. Held in by Zetterberg. Nicholas Kronwall shooting, knocked down in front by Garrison. Got it free to J.T. Brown, couldn't clear. Zetterberg with a shot that missed the net. Nemesnikov racing for that puck. Eriksson able to hold it in. Filppula will flip it out. Kronwall, the veteran defenseman, looks up ice. He's got fresh forwards off the bench. The pass handled by Sheahan, taken away by Killorn. Thomas Tatar. Battling Garrison, the Lightning come up with it. Here's Callahan, Stamkos in the off wing. As Callahan got decked at center, and DeKeyser takes over for Detroit. DeKeyser, look out! Callahan throws ahead. He's going to get a call here as Garrison back to handle the puck. And we're going to get a charging penalty to Ryan Callahan at 4:45. He's challenged here by Darren Helm, and the linesmen have to let him go. Nansen now decides he's going to try to hold them apart. It looked like he was going to let Callahan loose to battle, but Callahan heads off.
Charging will be the original call. I would think that Helm's got to get a penalty as well. He came charging right after him, and it'll happen here at 4:45 of the first period. The first penalty to Callahan will be charged, but this, if he doesn't go in the box, then there's something wrong. Watch here, that comes down here, he comes down here, he got a really good hit, but he came a long way to get him.
Here's what happened with Callahan, okay, with Helm after the play.
Well, if you're going to go after someone, you better be ready to defend yourself. And then over just by the bench guys, Kyle Quincy and Alex Killorn were going at it a little bit. So you see Helm's going over the box now. I think the spirited affair early in this game.
As that play went into the zone, resulting in the Callahan charge, this is what happened to him at center. It was Helm who took the pins out from under him.
Well, Detroit, well, we've talked so much about the power play. We're going to see it here early. Just 4:45 in as Callahan will pick up a charging and a roughing minor on this call. And only roughing to Helm, who got a late hit in as well at the center ice area after the puck was already picked up by DeKeyser, which should be an interference call anyway, but it was not called. So Detroit will start with their power play.
Toyota power play opportunity for the Wings as Zetterberg wins the faceoff, and now he's a little chagrined that they're going to drop the puck once again. Wings just 1/10 of a goal behind Washington in second place in the power play rankings, 25.1%. The Lightning have established a pretty good presence in the top 10 of the penalty kill, a little better than 83%. Here's Kronwall lining up a shot. Now to Zetterberg, fires it across. Here's Gustav Nyquist shooting, and a save by Bishop. He'll cover it up. Now Abdelkader and Hedman pushing and shoving a little bit.
They'll use that wide play, that back play, as you see right there. That I don't. The problem was that Nyquist couldn't handle the pass very well, and he fumbled it and then took the shot. When you fumble it and can't shoot it in one motion, the goalie has time to get over there and make that save.
Henrik Zetterberg, one of the best in the business at dispersing the puck. It's one of those games, guys, where you're going to have to control your emotions in between the whistles.
Well, Nyquist hasn't fumbled too many passes for those 12 power play goals. We showed you a moment ago, he's got the puck. And he's forced to slide it back to center as Brian Boyle got working with that stick. Pulkkinen, outstanding young scorer at the American League level and finding his form here in the NHL. He's got the puck now. He can really rifle it, and Bishop made the save. Stralman got it free, and Boyle picks an opening. He'll slide it back. 1:17 on the penalty. Jonathan Drouin serving the extra minor for Callahan.
Some good shots from the wide side, and good job by Ben Bishop pushing across.
Pulkkinen 3 goals his last 5 games, including a couple of game winners. It's centered now for Sheahan. Plays it across. Bishop, a great glove save there on Eric Holt. Another stop on top of that.
Boy, the Lightning have been guilty of leaving that wide guy wide open. Nobody kind of overloading on the one side, and he's been able to come in the back door. Take a look at the left of your screen. You just saw his stick. Now the shot. Bishop's making 2 tremendous saves. And Detroit really can get to that puck in front of that net. They really find that puck and they retrieve it very well when it's in and around that opposite goal.
53 seconds remaining on the Detroit power play. Lightning get it. Fired around by Stralman, and the Wings will have to head back. We talked about in Lightning Live, the pregame show. Red Wings score 31% of their goals with a man advantage. And it's a heavy reliance on that power play, and it's ever dangerous. Joachim Andersen getting to it, and his centering pass taken away by Stralman. It's covered now by Bishop. 30 seconds on the penalty.
Well, they've had 4 shots on goal. 3 of them been outstanding chances for Detroit. You can see why they have that high a percentage of goals scored with the man advantage. This is very similar to how the Canadiens started against the Lightning up in Montreal when the Lightning ended up winning that one 1-0 in overtime.
Chief, you always talk about goaltenders' ability to track the puck, and Ben Bishop is on top of his game early.
Nyquist helps the Wings win that faceoff. Grunwald with a pass to Zetterberg. Across, Pulkkinen fires, and Bishop ready. And Pulkkinen didn't miss much of that one.
Well, I'll tell you what, they've got a lot of guys wide open in this power play. Watch, you got 4 guys wide. Look at this one right here, top of the circles with a pretty good angle. He's not that low below the dot, but Ben getting over there very, very quickly and making that save.
Zetterberg and Boyle on the face-off, and another team win by the Red Wings. On Wall across to Nyquist. On Wall, Pulkkinen. Schuster out on him. Pulkkinen fires, and he missed the net. And by doing so, the puck rims out of the zone. And only 5 seconds remain, and the minor being served by Drouin for Ryan Callahan. Boyle went down into the end boards. Now is the Lightning back to full strength. Out comes Nyquist. We talked about Bishop and Howard out of the University of Maine. So's Nyquist. Zetterberg going to turn Schuster inside out. Difficult to do with his reach at 6'8". Puck comes free. Schuster helped out by Mark Barberio. Abdelkader playing it back. Stamkos has it. Angles it ahead to Drouin. Cuts in. Killorn drives the net. Drop for Stamkos. Shooting at Howard. Out of the top of his crease to make the save and get a whistle. No score, but plenty of action at both ends.
Valtteri Filppula and the Bolts underway, hosting his former club in the Detroit Red Wings. Here's our Geico great moment in history. I think you're going to like this one. March 16, 1984, Valtteri Filppula, born in Finland. So number 51 turns 31 today. You recall he scored an even 100 goals across 8 seasons and was a member of the 2008 Red Wings club that captured the Stanley Cup. Rick in Chief, the centerman, also asked to play on the wing this year. He has 34 assists, and that tops last year's total with Tampa Bay. That is just 9 shy of his career high in helpers of 43. So quietly, he could put up a career year in that department.
Well, thanks, Paul. He had 25 goals last year. That was a career high, and he's helped out in so many areas. Cooper relying on him defensively as well. Here's a shot. Bishop a stop there on the angled shot by Sheahan. Pass out of the zone. Didn't make it out. Tatar pulling it back to Darren Helm, returning to action last night against the Panthers. Here's a drive on the point, and it's tipped just wide. The Kaiser battling Stamkos.
That play by the Kaiser is what I talked about. That Detroit defense will stay in there. You got to be careful of those long passes.
Drouin back to Stamkos. Fires it now to Strawman. He's checked by Helm. Here's a shot, a save by Howard there, and the try by Killorn. Held into the point. Strawman looks, he'll fire. Kicked out by Howard. Here's a drive taken by Drouin. It's tipped out of play. Fans, there's no better time to reserve your 2015-16 season tickets than right now. Season ticket members get the best seats, the best discounts, playoff priority, exclusive player access, and more. Call 813-301-6600 or visit TampaBayLightning.com.
Well, Callahan just has a matter of seconds left to finish off that double minor that he picked up, while you're seeing Drouin out with Stamkos and Killorn.
Off the face-off, Brown helping out. Hedman driving one wide of Howard. Strawman pinching in. Brown backs him up. Lyndon Morrow leaving it for Boyle. He was bulldog to the boards there by Nicholas Kronwall, and Boyle jams right back into the play with Glendening. Hedman waiting for the puck to come his way. Tried to make a play, and that was tipped across. Strawman with it. He'll fire in front, and it caroms right back to Hedman. Getting it to Morrow. Out of the reach of Boyle. And Brown approaching. Runs into Yurko as Strawman handles that puck, keeping it down low in the Red Wing zone. Glendening poking it along. Yurko got it free. And the pass by DeKaiser out of the zone, or Kronwall, pardon me. It's intercepted by Hedman. Brown with a shot, and it's handled by Howard. He'll wait for the whistle.
Tampa Bay Lightning Hockey on Sun Sports is brought to you by Hat-Tricks Tavern, proudly serving the Lightning fans for the last 18 years. Just 3 blocks from Amalie Arena. Great place to start your hockey night and a great place to end it as well. Make sure you grab a nice cold beverage or those famous shake and bake wings. So why don't you come join the party that everybody calls Hat-Tricks.
And Chief, with our NHL Network audience looking in, I'll bet a number of people from other markets have sampled Hat-Tricks, and they've been to Tampa.
I've been a number of them have.
Nikita Kucherov with a shot, and it just skimmed off a player out in front, and by Jimmy Howard out at center. Cole is checked by Kucherov. They get the puck in the hands of Carl. Johnson looks up ice, and he knows where to find Andre Palat. Puck taken away by Zetterberg. Lightning recover it. Palat sends it in. Kucherov waiting. Nice move as he tried to dangle in front. Spoiled by DeKaiser. Johnson shooting a glove save by Howard.
I'll tell you, when you have the Johnson line, as they're known as the triplets, they really, you almost have to play a man-to-man defense against them. You just stay with one guy. They move that puck around so much, and they weave it in and out of your defensive setup. If you take your eyes off of just one of them, you're going to have trouble finding him again.
Speed off of the transition what makes those 3-0 so good. Their ability to get the puck going forward. A couple good shifts in a row by the Tampa Bay Lightning also.
Schuster made sure Nyquist couldn't clear that zone. Wings do get it out. We get an icing indication, and now the whistle for the call. Shot 7 apiece with no score.
Yeah, you can see there that 5-on-5 situation for the Lightning is a little bit stronger than the Red Wings. The Red Wings got 5 on the power play, and the Lightning about shot them 5-1 since that power play.
On the face-off, it comes to Barberio, chopping it in the slot. Couple of battles, but it comes to center, and here comes the shifty Nyquist. Great move, cuts in, goes forehand. Bishop a save, he'll hang on. Boy, a drop behind him, but by then the referee had already blown the whistle.
Nyquist is one of those players that if you get caught playing the puck, he will make you look foolish. And he's got such quickness and speed. And he just made that one inside to the outside move, and then even got the puck back on the forehand to try and get a little bit more lift to it.
Look at the season here. Sorry, Chris. 28 goals last year on pace.
That old saying, the ability to stick handle in the phone booth, and Gustav Nyquist just showed it there, the inside-outside move. With the puck or the man or both.
Stamkos line reunited with actually Philpott out there at the moment. Callahan was released out of the box, and it's Carl at center playing it back to Garrison. Stamkos coming back. Steven with 3 goals in the 2 meetings. Scored twice in the 4-3 shootout win at Joe Louis Arena November 9th. And also a goal in the 5-1 win here in late January. Cedric Paquette continues to mend from that upper body injury. He had a hat trick in that game. Stamkos shoveling it across for Killorn. Callahan now on. And Killorn tried to step inside on Eriksson, nearly pulled it off. Big Jonathan Eriksson at 6'4", 220, leaving it for Sheahan. Ronwald to center. Both teams making some changes. Ronwald tips it in. Bishop takes a look. And he's got Barberio waiting in the corner as Abdelkader came by and made contact with Bishop. Johnson sliding it back to center, and Quincy steps up to steal. He'll fire it in. Wings got back on side. Schuster checked by Zetterberg, as well as Abdelkader. Tyler Johnson takes it. He went 3 games without a point, without his best friend and left winger, Andre Palat. Here's Johnson roaring in. Centers in front, deflected up a couple of wings right to Zetterberg. Coming back, Palat almost came up with it. Cole takes it. He tries to step inside on Schuster. That doesn't work. Shifty types all over the ice here. Palat. But about threading the needle, things open up for him. Kucherov with a shot, and it's gloved by Howard. He'll hold play with 8:04 to go in a scoreless first period.
We're scoreless here in the first. Let's take a look at tonight's Buick big matchup, and it's the last 7 meetings. For years, Detroit has owned this season series against the Lightning, but not so much the last 7 games. You see the Lightning have won 6 of them, and now outscored them 21-12. The second period has been a big period for the Lightning. And those victories. We now are a team that are very much mirror images of one another.
Well, they sure are.
And the whole organization in a way, because Detroit's always been very patient with their young players, letting them play in their minor system, which is now in Grand Rapids for a couple of years, then bring them up, and you're pretty much already NHL ready by the time you come up. I think they've been doing that over the last couple of years with their minor league team that's now in Syracuse.
So you're saying we're going to see these teams head-to-head for a lot of years?
I would think so.
Ken Holland, longtime great GM of the Red Wings. Of course, Steve Yzerman, the Hall of Fame Red Wing player, 5 years in that management position, helping out Holland. A big save again by Ben Bishop. Now Drew Miller and Brian Boyle having a disagreement, separated by the linesman.
Well, what they're doing is, and I think what Brian Boyle's really trying to get across to the officials, is that there's those extra shots at the goaltender Bishop after the whistle. That's what he's talking about. Once he makes the save, they come in with those little extra pokes, and that's what's upsetting him.
You got a goaltender at the top of his game as Ben Bishop is, and you saw that last game also. Teams trying to get a bump on him, whether he's in the net or outside playing the puck. Make sure you're protecting your goaltender.
Boy, he really has been tested among the 10 shots the Red Wings have so far in this first period. 12.5 minutes have been played. The Kaiser, great skater, caught up to by JT Brown. He's got great wheels. And we get the whistle on the icing called here against Detroit. The Subway Student Rush ticket scores you the best available seat for just $20 with a valid student ID. Sunday at 5 o'clock, Lightning battling the Boston Bruins. More info at TampaBayLightning.com.
Well, we talk so much about the face-off and the value of it. You see the Lightning now would be able to start inside that zone. You don't have to worry about that defense in the neutral zone. but you're going up against a team that's 7th best in the league in faceoffs. You really bear down and make sure that's a big part of your attack.
Nemestikov with a pass back for Filppula. Works against Nyquist. Puck taken away by Polkinen. Had to reach back for that pass. Nyquist has it. And he sends it in behind Anderson. Mason Garrison getting to it. Nemestikov has played more in left wing, I think, in the times he's been up than his natural position center, but has made the adaptation pretty well.
He's just a really good young hockey player. He's just going to get better and better. I don't think Vladdy really worries about where he plays as long as he gets to play.
Thorne with a pass to Brown. Sliding it now to Stamkos, just stepping into the action. He sidestepped that hit. As Abdelkader was looking to derail him, here's Cole. He got battled up with Stralman, who tipped the centering pass. Comes across to Eriksson, and it bounced away from him. Randy DeKeyser, free agent out of Western Michigan. And the pass to Abdelkader, a sharp one. Zetterberg throwing it back. Cole coming late. Stopped by Bishop. Rebound out of his skates. He tried to center and hit the back of the goal. Zetterberg has it.
That's something the Lightning's forwards have to realize. Detroit will have that guy come late, and even the defense will join the play a little late to create those odd man opportunities.
DeKeyser holds it in. Here's a shot. It's whistled wide there by Quincy. Abdelkader throws it back to the corner. Comes back to Quincy. Victor Hedman looks for Killorn on the wing. He's got time to backhand to the head. Stamkos in a one-on-one there. DeKeyser keeps an eye on him. And Kucherov on the plate as Stamkos slips in. Curls back. Out of Palat. And it's taken away by Shane. He motors right up the boards. Cuts in toward the net. Meets up with Barberio. He's helped out by Palat defensively. And working across to Kronwall. Takes the shot. Backhanding it through. Hell of a shot. A save by Bishop. Another big save. Ben Bishop, center stage here in this first period, keeping it scoreless.
Scoreless in the first, thanks to that man there, Ben Bishop. But it shouldn't be a big surprise if you take a look at the numbers that he's had in his career against Detroit. He's 6-1, as you see there. That goals against average and save percentage is off the charts. And he has 1 shutout. And all but 1 of those 7 games he's played against Detroit has been with the Lightning.
Continuing that dominance again this evening.
He sure has. Wings have had 5 of the last 6 shots on net, including 4 scoring chances. And last one from Darren Helm right in the slot. Helm's got the puck right now. Pass was tipped, comes back to Kronwall. We're saying it was great to have Helm back because he brings plenty of energy, speed, as well as his attention to detail that they're looking to kind of hone here, heading down the stretch of the regular season. Palat couldn't get the puck out. Helm right there to block it. Comes back to Eriksson. Barberio wrapped up by the 222-pound Riley Sheahan. Barberio hangs in there. Tatar got it free to Helm. Back out to the point, and it just rolled off Eriksson's stick. Eriksson chased back, lost it. Johnson leaving it. Kucherov fires, and he just sends it over top of the net. Barberio back for it's got to play it. Schuster. Ahead for Drouin. Trying to shovel it for Morrow, with the Wings back in numbers. Puck stays in the zone for a moment. Now comes Detroit with Nyquist. Hanging on to it. Now spins it back to the corner. Anderson checked there by Boyle. Dug free and out for Shedletsky shooting, and an easy stop for Bishop relative to the other ones he's faced in this first period.
Lightning got to start protecting their own blue line a little bit better. They're really backing off of it right now, even when they outnumber Detroit. They had a good chance right here. That quick shot actually was deflected by Kronwall as he was getting back into position when they're trying that crossing play. Well, on the ensuing rush, the Lightning really backing off the blue line, allowing Detroit to gain the access to their zone rather easily.
You're opposing defenseman. You better make sure when you're handling that puck against that Johnson line, you make a quick play.
Here's Strawman under check. So cool in moving that puck away from Abdelkader. We're going to get a penalty. And holding indicated against Abdelkader from that encounter in the corner. So a Lightning power play coming up.
It looked like that's why he was struggling to get loose of that. 16-15 the time. Right here's where he made the spin. Right there, he grabbed him with that open hand on his stick, and right where his hands were on the stick. And now the power play for the Lightning. We point out Detroit's had one already. They had 5 of their 13 shots with that man advantage and had some number of great scoring chances.
Wings win the face-off, clear it out. Of course, the Red Wing power play gets the headlines. The Lightning at 18.4%, tied for 14. Coming off a 2-for-4 performance against Montreal here at home on Monday. In fact, the Lightning home power play has been very good all season. Wings on the kill, 81.3%, middle of the pack. But they've given up 8 power play goals against. In the past 7 games this stretch, they've gone 2-5, so it's been a point of concern. Babcock said this morning he feels it's coming along. They're unable to clear here. Garrison over for Killorn. Filppula turns with it. Peels back. We've got Jonathan Drouin down near the net. Killorn in the slot. Drouin gets the feed. Back to Filppula. Garrison fires, and it's deflected away as the Kaiser tipped that shot away, and he took down Killorn as well. The Wings banging out.
When the Lightning's power play is working well, they're very good at puck retrieval. When they take the shot or miss the shot, they get on it very, very quickly.
40 seconds left on the penalty to Abdelkader. Lightning delayed in coming out. Johnson the pass. It's Kucherov cruising through. His pass hit Callahan. Johnson. Had been watched by Anderson. Kucherov with a shot, and it's deflected by Howard out of play as Callahan was trying to screen him. Let's have a look at the Eastern Conference standings coming in. These two teams in the Atlantic Division. You can see if the season ended today, they'd be meeting in the first round of the playoffs. They've got a 6-point spread between them, Chief.
Yeah, then Detroit has a couple of games in hand, though, but still, you'd rather be up on top than trying to win those games in hand to catch it.
Palat surrounded by Red Wings. Callahan got it in front. Lightning begin a stretch of 9 games in 16 days tonight. Wings are in a stretch of 14 games in 24 days to make up those games in hand. Here's a shot, and Howard a save there on the try taken by Tyler Johnson as the penalty ends and Detroit back at full strength.
There's a big shot right there. Jimmy Howard making that save. But the thing of it is, that's a good shot of that, getting that puck away quickly. We saw Nyquist when he bumbled that pass just a little bit and couldn't get that shot past Bishop. Howard was just very quick to get over there.
Wings win another draw. Brendan Smith lead pass. He's trying to stretch it out for Abdelkader. They missed on the connection, and they'll bring it back in the icing call. Stay tuned for the Gulf Coast Honda dealers' first intermission report. Matt Carl visits with Paul Kennedy outside the Lightning room. We'll recap the Pediatric Cancer Foundation's Cut for a Cure. A lot of really shorn Lightning players in the lineup tonight. Highlights and stats. I think Ray Thill and the equipment guys adjusting a few helmets.
Saving a little money on hair products also.
That's right.
They call low maintenance haircuts. A lot of the youngsters too. Should be a bit of an initiation.
John Cooper was involved. He had the Clippers in hand.
Yeah, he was wheeling the Clippers there, a lot of it.
Want to play in the power play? You better get a haircut.
That turnover last game? I'm going to buzz you down. Didn't back check hard enough? Buzz you down.
Jedlinski pass ahead for Smith. That's deflected. Cole had it popped away. And Cole throws a hit on Filppula. Strawman back to the corner. Abdelkader in on him. The last encounter resulted in a Detroit penalty. Puck centered in front. Zetterberg defended by J.T. Brown, helping out in front of Bishop. That's 13-10 Detroit. Here in the final minute now, and counting remaining in the period. It's Brown in the zone. Filppula with him, but the pass was spoiled by Jedlinski. Brown has it back. Looks, decides he'll shoot. Blocker save there by Howard. Smith steps away from Nemestikov. Brendan Smith, his younger brother Riley, will be in here Sunday with the Bruins. Nemestikov runs into Tatar and skates off with the puck. 4 Lightning players against 4 Wings meeting at that line as Stamkos chips it in. Quincy. Back for DeKeyser. Pass ahead for Shane, trying to wheel it right to the tricky Thomas Tatar. He missed on that connection. Barberio for the Lightning slips it ahead to Killorn. Stamkos with 13 seconds. He'll slide it into the attacking zone. Tatar back for it. Goes it back for DeKeyser to pick up. And he'll push it out to center with 5 seconds. Killorn will not be able to reach that pass. Comes back to Howard. He'll glove it as the horn sounds, ending an active first period, particularly for the goaltenders. Bishop and Howard, excellent periods. Bishop really outstanding as the Wings outshoot the Lightning 13-11 in the first 20 minutes. No score here from Amalie Arena.
Next week, I believe it is, in Detroit.
And the Lightning in quite a battle, not only in their own division. Montreal and Anaheim with identical records on top of the overall standings at 97 points. The Lightning only 5 points, or I should say 4 points behind those teams. And they're 6th overall, so that gives you an idea of the traffic jam at the top of the overall standings in the NHL as we're underway here in the second. Ryan Boyle cuts to center. It's tipped to the line by Drouin. Red Wings coming up with it. Wings a +17 in the second period, their differential this season. They generally rise to the occasion. The Lightning have had some very good spurts of second period play in their schedule as well, especially when they get through the first without trailing.
The key thing now, I believe, is going to be the offensive blue line. Detroit really defends their blue line well. They stay right up on it. Lightning kind of backed off a little bit and allowed a little bit too easy of an access to their zone by Detroit. I think that's going to be a big factor in this game. Tonight you've got the long changes in this period.
Wholesale change for the Lightning out there as Strawman couldn't reach that puck, tied up there with Abdelkader. They'll meet once again. That's been a pretty good one-on-one battle so far in this game. Lightning in good shape, deep in their own zone, and out comes Palat through center. He'll take on Eriksson, who's got a pretty good reach at 6'4". Back to Hedman, firing, and Howard, they score! Howard made the save. It came right to Strowman. He fires it home for the game-opening score.
We've seen that defense. That defenseman on the offside move up very, very quickly when the shot's going to come from his partner on the other side of the ice. And we saw that Palat and the one-timer. Then you see the quick save. Strowman with those really good hands of his. Came right to him, and he was right there to just fire it home very, very quickly as he got great position on Abdelkader.
Good job by Andre Palat driving the puck in deep and opening up those points. A good shot and going to the net. Tyler Johnson, great job. A good battle in front of that net.
Yeah, Howard was trying to step away from the traffic, and in doing so, put himself in a spot where that rebound was not going to be going in the right direction with Strowman stepping in there. We'll get an icing call here against Detroit. Hedman and Palat get the assists on the goal, and Palat, despite missing 7 games a couple of times with injuries, missing a total of 7, he's still second on the team in assists, picking up his 38th.
Well, he and Anton Strowman has really quietly put up some offensive numbers from that point position. 7th goal on the year.
Quincy has it, using the glass, getting it out. And they wave off icing this time. Bishop out to play it to Garrison. Brown. Trailed there by Darren Helm. He comes up with a puck, but the centering pass was blocked by Filppula. And Filppula out-battles Sheahan, cuts in 2-on-1, moving in, overskates the puck. And Sheahan, in a sigh of relief, will fire it out to center. The wing's offside.
Boy, I tell you what, a giveaway almost resulted in a scoring chance for the Lightning on their own giveaway, as they were able to get that puck out of trouble. But Namestnikov making a nice move. Now, he was good at passing as he tried to drag it across in front to take the shot. He mishandled it, and that's what happened in the back-checking forward. Sheahan got back there to take it away, but Lightning gave that puck away 7 times in that first period. They definitely want to cut that down.
On Wall, the pass to Glendening, and it's played down the ice, cutting to it. Now it's Yurko, turns around, couldn't get much in the shot as he had to reach around Schuster. Yurko only 2 goals on the season for Detroit. They're looking to get him going. Glendening with a shot, kicked out by Bishop. Glendening gets to the rebound, and it's spun out to the corner by Barberio. Kronwall easing it down the boards. Glendening battling Schuster. Glendening turning, firing, and it's stopped by Bishop right at the post. He'll cover it up. And now get Yurko taking a shot at Barberio, as Barberio spilled him in that effort to get to the rebound.
If I'm not mistaken, I think there's about 15 players in this game. I mean, it would have been 16, but Mike Angelis was sent down that played in a Calder Cup Finals a couple years ago with these two teams, when they were between Grand Rapids and Syracuse. So there might be some bad blood trickling over from way back then with these young players.
Red Wings just using the back of the net, trying to put pucks on net, trying to create rebounds. And after that first period, Barberio doing a good job of making sure no one's going to that net. And if you are, you get put down.
Pass ends up out of the zone, and it's fired back in by Quincy. Bishop playing it around for Boyle. Shidletsky run into by Morrow. Here's Boyle. He steams down those boards, taking on Marek Shidletsky. Puck in the skates of Anderson. Lightning get it free. Boyle with a shot, and he missed the net. It comes down to Garrison. Brown lets it go. Comes all the way around to Boyle. Boyle trying to hand it off to Morrow. It's taken away, and the Wings will play it out. Carl paired with Jason Garrison in the 3 games since Matt Carl came back from abdominal surgery, missed 23 games. Nyquist now sliding the puck in. Lightning hoping to get Braden Coburn back. Would be nice before the end of the regular season, but we'll see how things go down the stretch of this regular season. Of course, acquired at the deadline from Philadelphia, and the Lightning 4-0 with Coburn in the lineup. He was injured in that win in Montreal last week, along with Palat and along with Cedric Paquette. Pass ahead for Palat, and reaching around was to Kaiser to strip him of the puck. Kucherov gets it back at center of the Lightning. Little spinorama into the zone to Hedman, fires in front, and it's trickled just right off the stick by Detroit as they were trying to find a player driving to the net. Here's Zetterberg back for the Wings. Hedman leaned in, defended him well. Palat sliding it now to Stroman. Good pass to Johnson. Slams on the brakes. Down he goes. Taken back by Stroman. Works against Sheahan. Hands it off the shot. Howard, a save there on Palat. Helm. Back to Tatar. Steps in, trying to fire it through Hedman. Got a piece of that pass. Sheahan back to Helm. Tried to step out in front. Stroman gets it away from Riley Sheahan. Namestnikov hands it now to Hedman. And ahead now to Callahan, steaming down that wing. He shoots, and a save by Howard. Rebound, Namestnikov. Canceled out there by Kronwall. Lightning in the back check, come up with a puck. Namestnikov circling with it. And the Wings in a change. The pass to the waiting Callahan. Feeding it back in front. Knocked down by Glendening in good defensive position there on Namestnikov. Glendening getting to it. Needs some help. We'll spin it back out for Nicholas Kronwall, the 34-year-old defenseman, missing Glendening on the pass, and it's brought back on the icing call.
Well, they had a couple of close calls to add to their lead. Watch this play by Kucherov, setting up Hedman, and as he's trying to pass it to the slot area, nice job by Cole to get back there and knock the pass down. And then this one here as well, as they were coming in. This time that shot from Palat coming in just quite wasn't high enough.
Andre Palat coming back in the lineup, not missing a beat in that line. Good defense leading to some good offense by Kucherov, and they sort of spin around also.
Stroman shot a save, rebound in front. Killorn couldn't pull the trigger with Miller there. And it's Yurko down the left side with a try. It's easily handled by Bishop. Stroman's 7th goal. That's now a career high for him. As the puck driven by DeKeyser off the glass, picked up by Drouin. And the Lightning right on the attack. Hedman with Drouin. Drouin waiting to Hedman. He's got it beyond the goal line. Played it off Howard. Chipped away by DeKeyser. And the puck still battled for. Howard finds it and covers it. Just past the 6-minute mark. Furious action around the Detroit net. Lightning had the 1-0 lead on the Stroman goal.
Hall of Famer and Lightning founding father Phil Esposito looking on. He of the 717 career goals. It was a night ago in South Florida against these Detroit Red Wings when Jaromir Jagr registered his 718th. He opened the scoring in what would be a 3-1 win for the Florida Panthers, and he bolted into 5th place past Phil NHL scoring records. It was on this very day by coincidence that Wayne Gretzky back in 1994 tied Gordie Howe for career goals, but you see 3 of the top 5 Rick and Chief were Red Wings. Gordie Howe, Brett Hull, who won a cup in 2002, and Marcel Dionne, many forget because he started with the Kings. He began with the Red Wings. We're reminded of the great tradition of goal scoring in the history of Detroit hockey.
Well, thanks very much. Here's Victor Hedman roaring, and he shoots, and it's tipped by Quincy off the glass. Pass out of the zone, and it's played now by Cole. A diving play by Hedman, got back for the puck, and Cole was tripped up, ends up in the net, dislodging it. A tripping call up coming to Hedman. At 6:30 here in the second period.
I know in the past, if you got the puck first, they wouldn't call it, but I think they changed that rule.
Yes, they did.
So this will be Detroit's 2nd power play. There you see he definitely got the puck first, but also got Eric Cole.
And perhaps saved a goal.
Yeah, 6:30 is the time of this penalty. And the Lightning have got to be able to keep that puck out of their zone as quickly as possible, or as much as possible, and get it out as quickly as possible.
They're going to make an adjustment too to that setup by the Detroit Red Wings, where they had one guy in front, one guy a little higher in that slot. They're doing a good job of bringing in the Tampa Bay Lightning penalty killers down low and opening up that shot wide from high to the wide side.
Well, Victor Hedman, he's been making it happen at both ends of the ice all season long when he's been healthy, and we saw a great example of it there. He's in the box for the trip. Here's Cole, a shot. He scuffed it. It's handled by Bishop. He'll hang on. Hedman for tripping at 6:30, and a Toyota power play chance for Detroit.
Well, you can't have that happen too often. They had complete control of the puck in a very weak backhand. It was kept in by Detroit. Once you get that control of that puck, it's got to get out of there. It's got to go 200 feet.
Sheahan wins the faceoff. Zhidlitsky, all 3 of his goals since coming from New Jersey on the power play. Tatar, back to Zhidlitsky. He'll fire, tipped on goal. Bishop a stop. He made the save, and the rebound try by Cole, and they score. Through a crowd in front, the puck ends up in the net with 3 or 4 Red Wings jamming away at it, and they've tied it up with a man advantage.
27 seconds later, the shot will come through. Ben gets a piece of it, but he can't completely get it underneath him. Well, the bat, and actually it was Brown's stick that dug it out from underneath him when he was trying to hold it back under the goaltender. The thing of it is, when the play's in there like that, why are you all digging around in there? What you should do is keep the other team from getting in there to get it. That's what happened. Tatar was able to come in late and will probably get the goal. But all the Lightning players are looking at the puck. Let the goalie grab it. Turn and make sure that those players that are coming in don't get in there.
26th goal, 9th in the power play. Tatar, the last one to arrive, appeared to jam it in. And we're tied at 1 apiece. Carl plays it off the boards to center. Eriksson checked there by Palat. Fish about to play it. Guiding it now to Tyler Johnson. Will angle it out. Glenwall watched there by Kucherov. Nyquist leaves it for the weaving Zetterberg. Into the Lightning zone he comes. And the puck worked free by Barberio. Palat checked by Abdelkader. Poked along to Johnson. He'll chip it out. Detroit 8 shots and the Lightning with 6 here in the second period. Johnson back for the puck.
Well, they had 4 on that power play, so 10 of those 21 shots have come with a man advantage for Detroit.
Puck just to drop dead now for Killorn. His try is shrugged off by Howard. And play halted. As I believe the officials lost sight of the puck. Tatar unassisted at 6:57 on the scoring play.
His 26th of the year, but boy, keep those players from going to the net. That's all you got to do. You stand there, you kind of form a wall around your goalie.
A couple of things that preceded that. They had a chance to clear, weren't able to clear, and then lost a face-off. Want to give a power play as powerful as the Detroit Red Wings, those kind of opportunities. Want to make sure you get the puck out, and when you don't, it ends up costing you.
Well, Babcock's power play now has scored goals in 10 of the last 11 games. They had a string of 9 straight with at least, in fact, they had just 1 power play goal in each of 9 straight games, ended by the Panthers last night in Florida's 3-1 win over the Wings. And now they're back on the board with a man advantage again. Miller grabs the puck for Detroit. He'll slide it in. Bishop takes a look. Hard around for Drouin. Barberio reverses. Andre Schuster getting to it. Out for Stamkos. The pass and his skates to Kaiser. Off Miller's stick, and it ends up out of play next to the Red Wing bench. Let's take a look at the upcoming schedule for the Lightning, presented by Steak and Shake.
Well, you see the homestand here continues on as the Boston Bruins will come in Sunday afternoon, followed by the Panthers and Predators on Tuesday, Thursday, and then the Lightning will go on the road, and you see there, first game of 5 on the road will be in Detroit.
How about those 3 rookies we saw there with Pasternak, Ekblad, and Forsberg? Outstanding young talents. Pass ahead by Boyle, leading it by Morrow. Zhelitsky turns with it, and Morrow right there to take it away. Boyle on the 1-touch. Here's a shot by Braun, and it's deflected on a play by Jimmy Howard.
Well, that extra count, that extra move allows goaltenders and defensemen to get reset.
I think it actually hit Smith.
Yeah, I think he got out there on it, but boy, good forecheck by Brendan Morrow. There you see it right here. See that extra move? That allowed Smith to get out on him another 3 feet. If he shoots it right away when Boyle gives it to him, you might catch the goaltender as well as that defenseman unawares.
Johnson and the Lightning trying to get control from that face-off, but it's Kronwall who plays it back to Eriksson. Tatar hands it now to Riley Sheahan, the Notre Dame product. First-round pick from 2010 by the Wings, and a big hit by Johnson on Sheahan, who outweighs him by about 40 pounds. Tatar grabs the puck in the corner, trying to make a little through-the-legs pass in front. Palat takes over for the Lightning. And Johnson looking to skid her out. This line played most of its last shift in the defensive zone. Pass picked off by Helm. Lifts it off the boards to center. Tatar will chop it in.
That's something the Lightning had 3 giveaways, or 4 giveaways and 3 takeaways by Detroit in that first period. There was another giveaway.
Palat hands it off to Johnson, feeding it for Kucherov, just out of his reach. He couldn't make a play on net before he swung by to the corner. Zetterberg trying to gather it in from behind. Palat wouldn't let him. Quincy off the glass, knocked down by Hedman. Cole plays it off the boards, and the Lightning will have to play this. Strowman around to Callahan. Puts it out to center ice. Nemestikov just stepping on. Now with Filppula, back to Nemestikov, cuts in. Trying to drop it to Callahan. Playing it back to Hedman. Filppula with it. Filppula with the shot, and it's deflected away wide. Nemestikov's pass is tipped. A lot of passers, not a lot of shooters right now. Strowman picks it up.
Sometimes it looks like they're embarrassed to score a goal.
Nemestikov playing it to Filppula. He'll walk in, fakes, and a step around Smith. Pass was taken over, and the Wings bring it out with Yurko leading the way, joined by Glendening down the wing. He fires, saved by Bishop off the chest. Nemestikov trying to slip through a dangerous opening at the side of his net. Pass to Nemestikov. Swings in, leaving it for Killorn, playing it back out in front. Schuster across to Barberio. And behind the net. Worked free by Stamkos. Killorn giving chase, met by Miller. Briefly a member of the Lightning. And Smith the pass. Yurko in behind the defense. He falls down, trying to get organized and get that puck kicked ahead to his stick.
He stepped on the puck.
He heads off. Here's Drouin shooting into that zone with Stamkos. Quick shot by Killorn, a save by Howard. And it's fired away to the point. There's your quick release there, Chief.
Exactly. Boy, is he ever going to hear it tomorrow.
Hey, watch out for that blue line. It'll get you every time.
He's hearing it right now. Pass ahead in the zone, and Anderson gathers it in. We're going to get a penalty here. Interference is indicated. 8:08 to go in the second period. This game is tied 1 apiece.
Welcome back to Amalie Arena, where we're tied up on the 1. The Bolts are about to go on the power play. And a day he will never forget is how Lightning video coach Nigel Kerwin described his flight with the Blue Angels. Kerwin recently got the opportunity to fly with Blue Angel #7 captain Jeff Coos, and after a brief tutorial, Nigel spent about an hour and a half in the sky trying out different maneuvers. The biggest challenge for him was trying not to pass out from the changes in G-force. He blacked out about 4 times, but despite that, he said this flight and winning the Stanley Cup were the 2 best experiences of his life to date. Guys, back up to you.
Top Gun.
Yeah, he was really pumped when I talked to him about it this morning. It's been in the works for a couple of years now, and they've never been able to hook up. And finally they had those 2 days, or 3 days rather, in between this game. And he was able to get it done.
And the U.S. Air Force survived.
Yeah.
Lightning on the power play. Polkinen got the interference call. There's a shot by Stamkos, knocked down, comes back to Hedman, holds it in. Stamkos reading it to Filppula. Killorn behind the net. They've got Drouin parked in the circle. Filppula closing in. Hedman to Stamkos. Take the one-timer, walks in, looks for a corner, and it's stopped there by Howard. Eriksson fires it away. Tip back to center. 126 on the penalty to Polkinen. His penalty at 11:52. Filppula's pass deflected by Miller up into the seats.
Boy, that enables Detroit to get a full change out there. They were able to get 1 person off on that penalty killing unit, and now they can get all the rest of them off. Difference in the power play right now, 10 shots on goal by Detroit and 1 goal. Lightning have had 1 shot on goal in the first one and 1 here in the second.
You're seeing the Red Wings, 1 or 2 passes, getting the puck from the middle of the ice to the side, taking a shot, and Lightning trying to be a little bit too fancy with some of those seam passes through the middle of the ice.
Johnson on that face-off, but the puck eludes Strowman. Strowman on the move, the pass to Johnson. speeds into that zone, looks to make a play, deflected off the defenseman at the side of the goal to Kaiser, and it almost went in. Johnson has it. Callahan settles in front of Howard. Pass to him side of the goal. Relayed back to Strawman. Kucherov in that far circle. They find him, and Howard came across with a save. Palat wins the puck, getting it back to Strawman. Johnson takes a look. He shoots, and it skimmed off Howard. Bounced away to Kaiser. Couldn't clear. As Kucherov got right in there, Anderson nowhere to go with the puck. Palat works it back out to Strawman. 24 seconds left on the penalty. Kucherov walks in. He fires, knocked down. Backhand try, hit Callahan. Kucherov tried to center, could not. Spins it back to Johnson. He'll shoot, and it's blocked there by Quincy. Callahan spins out in front with it. Rifles one. Quincy blocks it, fires it down the ice. On goal as Polkinen is released from the penalty box. Wings 1 of 2 in the power play, and they're 2 of 2 in the kill. Tatar grabs the puck. Jedlicki. Smith ahead for Shan. Checked by Strawman. Strawman leans in on him there. The puck is up for grabs, and Tatar got his stick on it. It's poked back to Smith. He'll wind. He'll fire. A save by Bishop. With Tatar flashing by. And Helm takes it for Detroit. Tatar pulls the trigger, and Bishop got a piece of that. Helm pulls it back around. Killorn got it free, and in an extra effort, got it to the point. A third effort gets it out. Killorn takes it. Handing it to Stamkos. Drouin, nice move around Helm. Turns back, feeds it through, and he skims it just wide as Killorn was trying to screen Howard. Garrison drives one on net, and Howard the stop there. The whistle blows with 5:01 to go in the second period. We're tied at 1.
We're tied at 1. You see the time remaining second period. Let's take a look at tonight's cold hard facts. Brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light. All-time top scoring Czech defenseman. You can see Marek Jedlicki right there. Hamrlik, Svoboda, Kabina, and Kuba all played for the Lightning. And they're all up in there in the top 7. But Jedlicki, who just came over from New Jersey. This is his 8th game. He's picked up 7 points.
Closing in at 400 points. Here's Hedman firing it across. Picked up by Filppula. He's taken down by Zetterberg. A penalty upcoming to Zetterberg. The Lightning will go on the power play once again. Bishop trying to get off for the extra skater. Long way to go. Strawman checked by Abdelkader. And we now get a whistle at 15-17 for a trip.
He took him out with his legs. Watch as he's coming up here right at the top of your screen there. See him right there, just taking him with his back legs, almost a slew foot. So the third power play for the Lightning.
Opportunity really knocking. However, the puck comes back through center. And Hedman. On with Filppula, Drouin. Killorn and Stamkos. Drouin trying to get into that zone. He's sent to the boards by Kronwall. Eriksson fanned on the first attempt to clear. Hedman knocks down the second one. And Killorn barging in there to get control, but the Lightning have to move it back to center. Stamkos had it bounce off his stick and off a teammate back into play. Tonight on Fox Sports Live, full coverage of the NCAA basketball tournament following a historic Thursday of frantic finishes. Would UC Irvine's 7-footer send Rick Pitino home early? 2 other games in the NHL. Jay and Dan have the highlights, the latest in the wild card standings. And with Oklahoma City clinging to the 8th seed in the West, the Thunder get devastating news about Kevin Durant. Lightning trying to create some highlights for Fox Sports Live right here. with their third power play chance. The Kaiser over for the puck. Vilpala just took it right off his stick. Runs into Drouin though. Wings move it ahead to Helm. And Helm will pressure Hedman. One pass at center, stolen by Quincy. He'll just wrist it back in. 51 seconds to go on the penalty to Henrik Zetterberg. Nikita Kucherov to center. And to reach back as he lost the puck. Now trying to lose Glendening. He'll go after his own pass. Fire! And he didn't miss by much. Bishop leaving it. Anton Strawman in charge here. Now to Palat. And a step around Kronwall. He takes him down. Miller in there, checked by Callahan. Callahan wins the puck, getting it back to Strawman. There's a room to shoot against Miller. Tyler Johnson in front, directed on goal. Howard a save there on Palat. Boy, that play worked to perfection except for the ending.
Wow. The only shot they've had, but it was a dandy.
Great save by Jimmy Howard. Zetterberg out of the box. Howard recovering from his last appearance, which was last Saturday. Been off 5 days. And was on the short end of a 7-2 score. He was in goal for all 7 goals against the Flyers last weekend. And he's come back a man on a mission. He's been outstanding with 24 stops so far. Abdelkader, a dangerous pass, got it across the ice. It's played out by Smith. Eric Cole met immediately by Carl. Makes the play to Abdelkader. Things open up. He fires. Saved by Bishop.
Well, both goalies have really made some big saves in this period we've talked about, but this one right here and that redirect right by Palat and Howard getting that right pad over there. Caught it off the toe of his blade. If you get it more in the middle of the blade, you could probably get a little bit more steam behind it, but nonetheless, it still was a tremendous save.
By the Lightning moving the puck around from the outside and that one little redirect to get that up a little bit more, but Howard doing a great job stretching across.
We talk about Bishop's numbers against the Red Wings. Howard, excellent numbers against the Lightning. 3-1-2 with a 2.12 goals against average, 929 save percentage. A lot of that accumulated before last year where the Lightning have turned the tables on the season series. They went 4-1 last year against Detroit. Much of that with Howard in net. Not all of it. Mrazek in there and Gustafsson as well. And then, of course, as we mentioned, winning the 2 previous meetings this year. That puck deflects off Schuster's stick and into the Detroit bench. Tampa Waterfront 2020 is America's first crowdsourced neighborhood. We want to hear from you. Visit TampaWaterfront2020.com and let us know what you want to see in your new waterfront community.
Well, I don't think anybody can really think that this was going to be much different. Both these teams, a 1-1 game, very closely fought. Both goalies being very strong in their respective nets and good scoring chances from both these players.
Lightning have outchanced the Wings 12-4 here in the second. Garrison to center. Now to Killorn. Stamkos has to hold up. Drouin couldn't grab the handle on it. And it ends up on the stick of Joachim Andersen at center. Jason Garrison back for the Lightning along with Carl.
This is the last
under a minute to go in the second period. Drouin to center. Wings converge on him. Still he hangs onto that puck. Great move. Cuts it, shoots, and it's tipped by Quincy out of play. Stay tuned for the Gulf Coast Honda Dealers second intermission report. Anton Strawman will be Paul's guest. We'll introduce you to tonight's community hero. Take you around the league on a limited schedule in the NHL, highlights and stats as well. Teams trading goals here in the second period. Strawman at even strength is 7th, establishing a new career high. Hedman and Palat the assist. Here's Hedman. Feeding it now to Kucherov. His shot is blocked by Eriksson. Tatar with that unassisted power play goal, getting one back for Detroit at 6:57. Zetterberg Maneuvers in, fires. Bishop had to stretch out for that left leg pad to make the save. Hedman double team. Zetterberg working it free. Strawman check. Palat trying to shrug that puck off his shoulder so he can get it to his stick. Flips it ahead and out. And it's bunted down the ice by Kucherov. 14 seconds to go. Wings move it ahead. Abdelkader will play it in. Hedman hangs on to it. And that's going to do it. Unofficially, the shot's 25-24 Tampa Bay, which would be 14-11 Lightning in the second. And the team's trading goals, as we mentioned here in the second period.
10 shots on the power play for Detroit. You take away that, and then of course the Lightning have had 13 turnovers. That's been the two differences as far as keeping this game close as far as statistics are concerned.
Clearing attempt by the Wings, knocked down by Schuster. And Morrow hurries into the corner to grab that puck, fires it to Boyle. Over for Barberio, takes it off the boards and fires it over the shoulder of Howard.
He didn't even see that. He was just hoping that if it did come on net, it was going to hit him.
Wings under some heat here in the early moments of period 3. Andy DeKaiser separated from the puck by J.T. Brown. The pass back for Brown. Barberio getting to it out of that corner in front of Boyle, and it dribbled by his stick. Schuster gets there in time. And a Boyle with a shot. It's blocked by Glendening, popped in the air. Still up for grabs, and Brown hangs on to it. Lengthy shift to open this third period for Tampa Bay in the Detroit zone. Big hit thrown by Brown on Yurko. And the Lightning peeling off at a change, and the Wings are allowed to escape. Yurko from center will slide it in. Bishop moving it around for Schuster. Off the stick of Kucherov. Gives chase as Howard plays it back around for Eriksson. He's pressured by Johnson. Kucherov arrives in that corner. Trying to get the puck back to Strawman. Eric Cole battling him every inch of the way, and Palat takes it at center. Just got it away from Zetterberg. Victor Hedman off Johnson's stick, comes back to Howard. Eriksson playing it to Zetterberg. No one near that pass, and it's picked up by Strawman on the icing called against Detroit. Tonight is your last chance to show us why you're the biggest Lightning fan. Show us by uploading a 1-minute video to foxsportsflorida.com/showyourthunder, and you could star in an upcoming Sun Sports promo. Zetterberg and Stamkos, the two captains, set on this faceoff. Killorn helps the Lightning win it. Back to Hedman. Wrist shot knocked down by Stamkos. He gets it back. Couldn't move it up the boards. Eriksson bowls his way to that puck. Looks for his veteran partner, Kronwall. Eriksson uses the boards to get it out. Hedman stepping up. Lightning tag up. And it's Eriksson. The pass out at center, taken over by Killorn. Keeps going. Encounters Helm. Hands it off to Jonathan Drouin, who's been seeing time on this line. Back from the second period with Stamkos and Killorn.
It'd be interesting to see now that Detroit playing a real tough game against the Panthers last night.
Harrison firing, and it's wide of the net. Sharp Karam covered by Howard.
See what the fatigue factor enters into this third period. So far in the first 2.5 minutes or so, it's been all Lightning inside Detroit zone.
Well, you got a team that's playing 2 games in 2 nights. It doesn't kick in until the third period, and as you can see, third period goals, the season leaders at Tampa Bay Lightning tied with Calgary at 89. Bit of a surprise with the Flames being up that high, but I want to make them play in their own end, tire them out.
The Lightning a +30 on the goal differential in period number 3, and that's been something they've really built up and used to their advantage in winning 27 games here on home ice. Wings had 3 days off going into the game against the Panthers last night. Lightning 3 days off going into this game. Harrison at center. Angles it to Filppula. Rifles it in. Brendan Smith over for it. Hopefully got a stick on it. Couldn't control it. Jedlicki. Now Joachim Andersen. Backhand pass. Then away with there by Garrison. Callahan on this unit with Nemestikov and Filppula. And Nemestikov battled his way to the puck. And he's crushed in there by Smith. Slow to get up. Smith with the puck, and Boyle comes over to give him a shot. Nemestikov skating off, shaken up. Anderson trying to step inside. Couldn't on Schuster. Tapped away by Callahan. Drew Miller gumming up the works in that Lightning zone. Barberio. He'll flip it over the shoulders of the defenseman. Kronwall back for it, and we do get an icing call.
Well, he's still shaking up. Watch as he's coming in here, and got actually cross-checked into the net, and behind there. Watch here. That's a cross-check into the boards, if there ever was one.
You certainly can't say he turned to take the hit because he was in that position to begin with.
Well, he extended his arms with the stick. That's what you take a look at. If he had the stick up against his body and took him into the boards, it's not. But you extend the arms and take the man in the boards with your stick. That's cross-check.
Here's Schuster lugging it into the Detroit zone. Finally stopped at a hip check by Jedlicki. Brendan Morrow back to the point. It's fed now to Hedman. Looks toward the net. He'll shoot, and it's deflected wide. Tap free side of the goal. Boyle gets to it. Out to Schuster. Lines up the shot. That's blocked by Abdelkader. He's feeling that one a little bit. Cole had it taken away by Morrow and company. Jedlicki challenged by Brown. Boyle takes on Smith in that corner, and it's sent out of the zone. Cole had it tapped away by Hedman. Both teams change it up. 4.5 minutes in here in the third. Sheahan. He'll shoot it in. Bishop quickly out to handle it. Diffusing that forecheck with a pass to Palat. Handing it now to Johnson. Check from behind by Riley Sheahan. Puck kept wide by Howard. And the Triplets follow that play in deep in the zone. Hedman gets to the pass. Now as Kucherov had it tapped away. Strawman pinching. Met by Sheahan. Tatar involved as well. Palat trying to dig it free. Comes out to Helm, and Palat dug it away, kept it in the zone. Palat heads for the other corner. Hands it off to Johnson. Kucherov with him. Back to Palat. Helm is on him. They find Garrison. Here's Carl wristing it, deflected wide as it skipped off Riley Sheahan out in front. And the Lightning steal again. Palat sending it behind Kucherov. And Sheahan finally getting it out. Good dogged work in that attacking zone by Tampa Bay.
Boy, you can really tell when you have a team on the ropes at this point, because every time they do get the puck out of trouble, they're just dumping it down the ice so they get fresh bodies, so that takes away their offense.
Quincy hounded in there by Killorn. Now Drew has still tangled up with Glendening. And Stamkos free to grab the puck. Go about pass, and it's just off Barberio's stick. It was deflected. He's getting it back along the boards. Back to Killorn driving it. Howard kicks it out. Stamkos tried to quickly react. And it dribbled off his stick, rifled out by the wings. Yurko trying to get it ahead. That's blocked. Drew out. Handing it now to Killorn. Drops it off for Stamkos. Swings to open ice. Shrugs off a check from Miller. The pass to Hedman. Back to Stroman. He'll let it go. And it's stopped by Howard. Stamkos free to go to the rebound. Hedman with it. He's wheeling and dealing in there. His shot was snuffed out by Yurko. Stroman now to Stamkos. Couldn't get the one-timer going. Quincy out on him. Stamkos, 39 goals, fires, and it's gloved by Howard. He'll settle for the whistle. 13-16 to go in this third period. Plenty of pressure by the Lightning, but this game tied it.
We're tied at 1 with that time remaining in the third. You're taking a look at two college goaltenders, both of them from the University of Maine. You see Ben Bishop going there in 05-08. Jimmy Howard before him. You see their numbers that they put up there, pretty good numbers. Both these teams do use a lot of college players. Detroit has 8 college players in their lineup, 7 of them homegrown, whether they were drafted or undrafted free agents. Only Miller's the only guy that was drafted by another team. Lightning have 6 in the lineup from the college ranks. 3 are homegrown.
I wonder what kind of defense they play there at the University of Maine, because playing junior always had that joke. In the Quebec League, there wasn't a lot of defense. That's why they produced so many good goaltenders, so many good offensive players.
Well, following those two at the University of Maine came Scott Darling, who just got his first NHL shutout the other night for the Blackhawks. So quite a tradition of great goaltending at the University of Maine. Mesnikov back on the ice for the Lightning as he's working with Filppula and Ryan Callahan. Hedman spins to make the pass. And out of reach for his teammates. Icing the call against Tampa Bay.
The first time that Detroit's had the puck inside the Lightning zone, and took an icing to get it there.
Your Tampa Bay area BMW centers want to remind you to tune in Sunday afternoon. The Lightning and the Bruins going at it for the first time this season at Amalie Arena. Coverage begins at 4:30 p.m. with Lightning Live pregame. The Bolts and the Bruins Sunday on Sun Sports. We'll also conclude the regular season April 11th here at Amalie Arena. That could be a very interesting contest there with playoff positioning implications. Callahan follows the play to the corner. Filppula trying to get to that puck. Meets up with Zhidlitsky. Chipped along and out for Nyquist. Trying to get a step on Strawman. Difficult to do. They both go down. It's centered out in front. Mesnikov trying to find the puck. Joakim Anderson got there. Strawman hands it to Hedman. They'll lug it through the center ice zone. Looking to make a play. Back to Callahan. Across to Filppula. And it's sent in front off Zhidlitsky's stick. Teemu Pulkkinen takes control. Haven't seen a whole lot of Pulkkinen tonight. In the warm-up, Dan Cleary skated on this line in the line rushes, and then Cleary ended up being scratched. Harrison challenged there by Abdelkader. And the officials trying to get them to move the puck. Zetterberg foraging in there for it along with Boyle. Cole bumped to the boards. Work away from the boards, and Morrow gives chase, gets to it, protects that puck. Good play to Brian Boyle. And Zetterberg rides him out. And now Boyle takes him down at 6'7", 244, using that size. Morrow right in the grill of Abdelkader. Kronwall getting it free to Eriksson. Justin Abdelkader having a career year with 19 goals. He'll bring that play in the zone. Fires in front, looking for Kronwall's stick. And that was negated by Carl. Abdelkader couldn't center, and Boyle takes it for the Lightning. Morrow sails it inside the line. Played there by DeKeyser with the Lightning changing. Vlad Johnson and Kucherov now will come on. Andy DeKeyser to center from the red line. Keeps it away from Bishop. Tatar grabbing it. Meets up with Johnson. From the point, here's a shot, and it just bounced wide as Quincy thought he got that on goal. Barberio in the corner. Played by Johnson, but right to Helm. His pass snuffed out by Johnson. Helm saves it. Tatar. He's been credited with a Wings goal. Here's a shot by Helm, and it's handled by Bishop. He'll hang on to it.
9:49. That's the time of Detroit's first shot on goal in this period. And it was Lightning set up by a giveaway by the Lightning. That's one of the things that they haven't done very well this game. Coming into this third period, they've had 13 giveaways.
That shot deflected off Schuster, looked like an on net. Strawman getting in there to win the battle for the puck. Wings drive it back in. Kronwall takes it. Another sellout crowd here at Amalie Arena, and joining this one, 19,204. Strawman pressured. Pulkkinen in on that forecheck along with Anderson out to the point. Here's Kronwall shooting, and it's deflected and out in front and blocked by the Lightning. Stamkos with the wings right there, and they give up the puck to Jonathan Drouin. Leading the rush in, leaving it for Hedman just out of his reach. Now to Killorn, he scores! Tampa Bay takes a 2-1 lead midway through the third.
Boy, it looked like it was going to be a broken play on a pretty good opportunity for that odd man rush. Drouin taking it in there. He wanted to go back on the drop pass, but Hedman with that long reach was able to save it and then get it into the slot. Watch Killorn just finish it with a very quick wrist shot back to where Jimmy Howard was coming from. His 15th of the year has given the Lightning back the lead.
Good finish by Alex Killorn and Jonathan Drouin. A couple nice passes this evening. This one resulting in a goal. I think we're starting to see why he's one of the top picks, guys. Speed and skill and passing ability showing through.
As we mentioned, Drouin moved up to that line by John Cooper in the second period, paying dividends here. Carl double teamed in the corner. Boy, the Wings at times in this game have had 2 and 3 men around the puck at all times, but the Lightning on the rush, able to create and take a 2-1 lead. Here's Smith. Overskates the puck. Callahan trying to work it free from behind, and Yurko will send it in.
The assist to number 77, Victor.
Hedman, who assisted on the Strawman goal, picks up a helper here. Of course, Drouin picking up the other assist on it. Among the assist leaders in the rookie category. All season long, he's had just the 2 goals, but he's been in on a number of goals on the season, picking up his 26th assist, and now we've got a collision out at center ice involving Hedman. Alex Killorn has put the Lightning in front 2-1.
Well, you're looking at Jonathan Drouin. He got with a nice assist on that lead goal by Alex Killorn. If you take a look at the assist by rookies, he's moved right up there. You see Johnny Hockey, who wants to be known as John Gaudreau right now, 36, and Forsberg, who had that great start, has been in somewhat of a slump of late. And Drouin right there, 4th overall in assists, tied with Klingberg. Lightning will go shorthanded again. They got too many men on the ice call. And this is a very important penalty kill for them.
Toyota power play chance for Detroit. They scored on the last opportunity. On that full mouth scramble that lasted several seconds before the puck ended up behind Ben Bishop. That's the only time he's been beaten tonight. The Wings now with power play goals in 10 of their last 11 games. They're shifty Nyquist. Backed up by Kronwall, now to Zetterberg. Around to Abdelkader. Zetterberg, checked there by Killorn, knocked free by Victor Hedman. Filppula gets to it, and he'll send it out. He got derailed at the line there by Niklas Kronwall, who certainly can throw the big hits, and Filppula knows that, his teammate for a number of years. Here's Abdelkader. Pulkkinen getting it back out to Kronwall. Zetterberg takes it. Abdelkader trying to screen Bishop. Here's Nyquist. He's got time to set up, and a save by Bishop. Johnson turns, heads up ice for the Lightning, joined by Boyle on the kill. Swings in. Boyle fires. Saved by Howard. Wings with 42 seconds left on the Lightning bench penalty. Nyquist pounded there by Boyle, trying to tap his stick to get him to cough up the puck. Finally, Schuster takes it. And he slips it to the point. Zhidlitsky holding it on the line. Nyquist across to Thomas Tatar. Zhidlitsky's got to chase down that puck. Boyle still out there in the kill with Johnson. And Zhidlitsky mishandles it. That gives the Lightning a chance to change. Palat coming on with 12 seconds to go in the penalty. And Palat broke up that pass. Thomas Tatar with it. Stood up on the line by Schuster. And the play whistled offside as Brown steps out of the penalty box. The Lightning have killed the penalty, protecting a 2-1 lead with 6:36 to go in the third.
Big penalty kill. That was the time the Lightning really protected their blue line well. Watch right here. The pass will come over to the right wing or left wing side. Look at Schuster coming right over there, stopping the play on Tatar before it even got started. Filppula coming back into aid. The Lightning defenseman, really a nice play there.
Warren has switched over on the right side on the lineup of that faceoff with Drouin taking the left side. Here's the Kaiser stepping in. Stamkos reached in with his stick to tip that one out of play. Tonight's code of the game is Cooper. Visit lightningfanrewards.com and enter tonight's code in the Game Day Challenge section. Win tickets, gear, or earn points through trivia, polls, predictions, and so much more. That's lightningfanrewards.com. Log on now. Lightning 6 shots here in this third period. And Detroit has just the one. Helm had it taken away by Stamkos. 2-on-1 with Killorn. Stamkos fakes. Back to Killorn just out of his reach. And Helm with his wheels. Maneuvers to center. Coughed up the puck there. Strawman playing it. Stamkos bumps into the Kaiser. Helm is checked by Drouin. Andy de Kaiser, watched by Jonathan Drouin. Well, we saw some impressive rookie names on that list of assists, and we'll see Forsberg coming into this homestand with the Predators next Thursday. Lightning still have a date with Mark Stone, Mike Hoffman, and the Senators on the upcoming 5-game road trip. Here's a shot toward the net, deflected in on Bishop, and Bishop trying to cover. He's able to with Cole in the vicinity, and Anderson and Barberio grabbing each other. And Strawman in the pile-up as well. Bishop holding off this shot that's deflected by Eriksson.
Well, let's take a look at tonight's Diamond Performance presented by Ackerman Jewelers and Victor Hedman. He's our subject with the 2 assists plus 2, but he set up both goals for the Lightning and really nice assists. But what's really been impressive about Victor tonight is his ability to skate and get that puck out of trouble when Detroit has been putting a lot of offensive pressure on the Lightning. So our Diamond Performance, Victor Hedman.
Victor doing a great job of activating, getting up in the play himself, and defensive partner Anton Strawman. Those guys have been up ice all night without sacrificing on the defensive side of things.
Yeah, we saw Hedman leading one rush, getting a shot toward the net, and then back defensively, took a penalty, but he might have saved a goal with Eric Cole bearing down on Bishop. But that certainly demonstrates the speed of Hedman, who's now defending here, and Callahan skates off of the puck out for Strawman. 4 men across, it's placed in the corner, trying to get to it. Callahan, at least he lifted a stick and kept that play down low as Nemestikov, while prone on the ice, trying to make a play back to the point. Jedlitsky, hounded there by Filppula, who's been dangerous in terms of turning over some pucks in that attacking zone. Abdelkader lifts it in. Hedman takes it. Turns away from Tatar. Will hoist one toward Howard. It bounced wide. Sheahan will play it in. A collision course there with Boyle as Garrison takes it around to Brown. Trying to hammer it up the boards to get it by Kronwall. They'll have to reverse it. Give it a try on the other side. Morrow held off by Tatar in that puck battle in deep for Helm. Trying out maneuver Matt Carl. Helm with it, his pass blocked by Boyle. He makes sure that puck gets down the ice.
This is the time of the game where Detroit will have to take some offensive chances when they're down by 1. You're under 4 minutes to go. Lightning could end up with odd man rushes.
Away comes Cole. He loves to lower that head and drive down the boards. Banks it off the side of the net, got it out in front. Killorn using the glass, gets it out. Quincy trying to hold up the rush there, but Killorn gets it in the hands of Stamkos. Killorn in on the forecheck. Tip to center, knocked down by Drouin, and he'll just dump it back in the Detroit zone. To Kaiser. Puck got away to Killorn. Now to Stamkos. And then just slot it in deep. It's time to change up. Lightning trying to stay on time with their changes with 3:05 to go in the third.
Really good shift by that Stamkos line, and good job by Jonathan Drouin getting back on the defensive side of the puck.
Nyquist across for Smith. Leans in, fires, and a pad save by Bishop. Palat chips it out. The speed of Johnson. Getting back there to try to win that puck. Zetterberg gave it up to Strawman. Well positioned at center. Down he goes. Here comes Nyquist. Walks in. Fakes. Hedman poked it away. Advocator's try is shouldered off there by Bishop. And behind the net. Hedman run from behind by Nyquist. And the play comes out to center ice. Hedman is furious at the lack of a call. Smith ahead to Nyquist. Playing it into Zetterberg. Plays it on goal. Bishop to stop. Hedman will clear it out. And we will get an icing call.
Well, we're seeing why Detroit's the 5th least penalized team in the league. But boy, watch Hedman doing a nice job here with that poke check. He wanted to get down in case Nyquist shot it, but he's such a tricky player. And Victor really had both areas covered, the shot as well as the deep.
Took a pretty good hit from behind Nyquist and had a few things to say to the official as he was skating up the ice.
Red Wings are going to use their timeout. Jimmy Howard coming over to the bench, getting into the bench with 2:14 remaining. And Tampa Bay up by a 2-1 margin. Teams are getting bolder and bolder, of course, in pulling the goaltender, trying to come back from a deficit. Patrick was kind of set one standard. John Cooper has set another when you're down 2 or 3, pulling that goaltender to try to make an attempt to come back.
Well, you take a look at the remaining schedule for the teams. Detroit have 8 of their final 13 on the road. Lightning have 5 of their final 11 on the road. One which being Detroit. But the bulk of them are against the division, the Atlantic, for the Lightning.
Kind of a break for the Lightning here because they had the icing called against them and Detroit used the timeout. The Lightning still have theirs available. And Filppula called upon to take the face-off against Zetterberg. 6 skaters out for Detroit, an empty net behind him. 2-1 Tampa Bay with 2:14 to go in the third. Filppula, the top face-off man for the Lightning at 53%. He cleanly wins it. Back to Strawman. He turns the net. Off the boards, knocked down by Kronwall. Kucherov looking for it. Nyquist was down at ice level. And the Wings are forced back further by Filppula. Zhidlitsky. Ahead for Nyquist. Hits right up the middle. Abdelkader couldn't reach the pass. Strawman fought off a check to clear it out with Killorn's help. Here's Callahan getting to it. Down he goes. Couldn't guide it toward the empty net as he's overcome by Tatar. And Tatar racing back for Detroit. 1:38 to go in the third. And for Zetterberg, fires it off the side of the goal. Picked up by Callahan. Double teamed in that corner. A third wing arrives. Puck comes back to the point. Kronwall there. Sends it across. Skipped off the stick of Zetterberg. Knocks it down. And Strawman tried to come up with it. And we get 2 players hitting the deck. Nyquist and Filppula. Here's a shot. Handled by Bishop on the rebound. He makes a save there as he stops Tatar in the second try with 1:14 to go in the third.
Filppula was trying to figure out why Nyquist doesn't get a call. He grabbed a hold of his stick. That's what happened. Watch here. He's got a hold of his stick right here. Look at that. Got it underneath his arm and pulls him down. Takes the stick out of his arm. And the play will come back. It's amazing to me.
Cross check, a punch.
Oh. But he had it hooked under his arm too, Bishop. You know, you've seen that.
I'm with you, but the definition of letting him play.
Off the face-off, a scrum developed. The Wings come out with it. Kronwall, watched by Steven Stamkos. Pass back in front. Stamkos canceled that helm stick. Kronwall gets there, feeds it across the shot. It's blocked at the defense by Hedman. On the try there by Riley Shane. Under a minute to go. Kronwall in the slot, and the try by Helm intercepted by Hedman. He's able to dribble it out. Kronwall bring it back to Helm. Nicholas Kronwall with it. Slides it down the boards, cut off by Bishop. Angled it off the glass, got it to Palat. Good play to Boyle, he'll just flip it back. And will it reach the empty net? Stamkos trying to make sure it does, he scores! He outfought Kronwall to make sure he jammed it in that net with 28 seconds to go. 3-1 Tampa Bay.
I don't think Kronwall realized how fast Stamkos was coming.
Goal number 40.
He just put his head down. He looked back at the blue line, but he wasn't able to hold him off. He tried to screen him off with his body, but he knew he was going to lose the battle. But those quick hands produces number 40 and a 3-1 lead with 28 seconds to go for the Lightning.
A nifty little stick play and good flip by Boyle and a good stick check by Palat just before that also.
Fourth time Stamkos has reached 40 goals in a season. Last year with a broken leg, missing more than half the season. The year before, 29 goals in the lockout-shortened year. But he scores into the empty net, finishing off the play by Boyle to make it 3-1 in the closing moments of this one. Tampa Bay now 6-1-1 in its last 8. Ben Bishop continues his rock-solid play in the net. The margin over Detroit now grows to 8 points. Stamkos hits the 40-goal mark from Boyle and Palat at 19:32.